Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Gautam Roy, and coming up in the next 30 minutes, Israel claims it is preventing Hamas from re-establishing its hold in Gaza's Jabalia. Its defense forces claim that the army has killed about 30 Hamas terrorists. Death toll from Afghanistan floods has risen to 315 with more than 1,600 people injured. Taliban's economy minister has urged UN humanitarian agencies and private businesses to support those affected by the floods. Protests by agitators against high prices and other hardships in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir rage on for the third successive day. At least one police officer killed and 90 others injured. And 96 constituencies across 10 states and union territories are all set to poll on Monday in the fourth phase of the Indian Lok Sabha elections. Alright, first up, Israel has said that its forces operating in Jabalia in the northern Gaza Strip are preventing Hamas from re-establishing its military capabilities. Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari said that Israeli forces operating in Gaza City's Zaytun district killed about 30 terrorists.
In northern Gaza, fighter jets have been striking terrorist targets. This morning, we also began a temporary evacuation process in Jabalia. The troops eliminated about 30 terrorists and located dozens of weapons in a school in the area. They discovered a significant underground route through which terrorists planned to carry out an attack against our forces.
People living in Gaza's southernmost city of Rafah have been fleeing this last refuge from the fighting after the Israeli army had ordered further evacuation in eastern Rafah. The army cited upcoming military operations targeting Hamas terrorists in those areas. Many people living in Rafah have dismantled their tents, preparing for leaving with a lack of basic necessities. Earlier on Thursday, talks on the Israel-Hamas truce in Egypt's Cairo had failed. Let's take a look at what Sarah Coates has sent us from Tel Aviv in her report.
We did hear from the UN Chief Antonio Guterres. He says it's going to be a long way back for the people of Gaza after this conflict, calling for an immediate ceasefire. Now, according to the United Nations, some 300,000 people have already fled Rafah, as you mentioned, down in southern Gaza, although it says there is simply no place safe left to go for these people. Now, also fighting has really intensified in the north of the Strip in the Jabalia refugee camp. The military says that Hamas is now regrouped in that area, calling it a dangerous combat zone, calling on some 150,000 people to move to the west of Gaza City. So this is, of course, on that coastline there on the Mediterranean Sea. So fighting, it seems, has really intensified right across the Strip, although aid agencies say there is simply nowhere safe left to go for these people.
Now, in the latest from Russia-Ukraine conflict, at least 7 people were killed and 15 injured when a whole section of a multi-story apartment block collapsed in the Belgorod region. According to Russian Defense Ministry, Ukraine carried out the attack using Toshka-U, Vampire and Olka missiles and rockets. Meanwhile, the Russian Defense Ministry said that its air defense forces had destroyed 2 Soviet-era conventional ballistic missiles launched overnight by Ukrainian forces over the Belgorod region in Russia's southwest. Also earlier, 1 woman was killed and 29 other people were injured in another incident of shelling by Ukraine's armed forces in Belgorod. 49 apartments and 22 apartment buildings and 4 commercial properties were damaged, whereas 4 roofs of apartment buildings had received a direct hit. Let's now turn to DD India's Dasha Chernashova from Moscow for her report.
Well, the understanding in Moscow is that the conflict in Ukraine could be over very, very soon. Soon after the Western countries stopped the supplies of the military aid to Kiev regime, as Moscow calls the authorities in Ukraine. And that is making the Russian authorities insist that without that support, the conflict would be over. In the meantime, however, we are seeing the escalation of the situation, including the situation in Belgorod, where at least 18 people have been taken to the medical facilities after sustaining injuries in the collapse of the 10-story building, which is the result of the Ukrainian shelling. Now, the understanding is that it is another act of terrorism, as the Russian authorities describe it. The Russian Investigative Committee has started the criminal case, and we are yet to hear for the final numbers in terms of those dead and those injured. But Moscow is saying that this is the latest in the chain of the attacks of the Ukrainian armed forces against the civilian targets in Russia, and that's why we understand that Moscow is saying that it will push forward until the goals of its operation in Ukraine are achieved, because this means that the territories in Belgorod, Kursk, Bryansk and elsewhere in Russia would be safe.
Now, the real estate market in Ukraine is experiencing a surprising boom. There was a 70% increase in transactions last year, a strong recovery since this conflict with Russia began in 2022. Although sales are still lower than in 2021, it's looking like more Ukrainians are willing to invest in real estate despite the ongoing war. Megumi Lim reports from Kyiv.
These days, driving around Bucha is like a tour around construction sites. Yuri, who is a property developer here, said his company was the first to begin rebuilding after Russian forces retreated at the end of March 2022. Now he says the number of construction projects have reached as much as 50% of pre-invasion figures. The most popular option for home purchases are those that are fitted with bomb shelters.
And that's why we made our bomb shelters not just ordinary shelters, but comfortable ones, where you can spend time working.
Lyubov is looking to buy a new home for her daughter, who lives in Dnipro, eastern Ukraine, which has come under regular attacks.
Now I need to find an apartment to buy, because it is dangerous there in Dnipro, and Irpin is now a calmer city compared to others. It's already recovering, so it's quieter than the others.
Her daughter represents one of the main groups driving the growing real estate market, those planning to move away from areas that have become unsafe. Kyiv and western Ukraine are common destinations, as they are considered safer than the war-ravaged east and south of the country. According to a Ukrainian analytics company, more than 400,000 homes, apartments and land changed hands last year, a 70% increase from the first year of war in 2022. The figures are still lower than in 2021, when the country saw a record number of over 630,000 properties sold. Anna, who is a real estate agent in Irpin, says after the approval of additional military aid from the United States, people are feeling more confident.
After the news from the U.S., people became more positive. People started to choose. This applies both to the purchase of apartments and houses.
As the war grinds on, the risk of home ownership remains high. According to the Kyiv School of Economics, as of January this year, over 250,000 private houses and apartment buildings have been damaged or destroyed by Russian missile and drone attacks.
According to Prihodko and Partners, a Ukrainian law firm, despite the risks, 90% of homeowners don't insure their properties. Kyiv also believes damages from air attacks should be paid for by Russia. For Lyubov, moving her daughter to the Kyiv region gives her a sense of relief. One of her main criteria is that she lives on a lower level, less exposed to air attacks.
Before the war, I didn't pay attention to the floor level, but now I pay attention to the fact that this is in the middle floor. Not in the first, not in the last one. And that there should be a bomb shelter.
With no end in sight to the war, people in Ukraine are finding ways to carve out a safe space for themselves as best as they can. Megumi Lim in Kyiv, reporting for DD India.
Now, the death toll from the flash floods in northern Afghanistan has risen to 315, with more than 1,600 people injured as well. The Taliban government there has said thousands of homes have been damaged and livestock wiped out. Humanitarian organizations add that healthcare facilities and vital infrastructure like water supply have been damaged by the floods. Afghanistan is prone to natural disasters and is considered by the United Nations to be one of the countries most vulnerable to climate change. Now, about 50,000 protesters marched peacefully through the streets of Georgian capital Tbilisi on Saturday. Demonstrators continue to oppose a foreign agents bill proposed by the government. Polls have been opened in Catalonia in a regional parliamentary election. More than 5.7 million voters are eligible to choose lawmakers for the regional parliament based in Barcelona. Opinion polls forecast a comfortable lead for socialist candidate Salvador Illa over hardline separatist Junts. A fire broke out on Sunday morning in a vast shopping center housing 1,400 shops and service outlets in Poland's Warsaw. The fire brigade said more than 80% of the shopping complex was destroyed. Workers at Apple Store in Maryland have voted in favor of authorizing a strike. The date for work stoppage has yet to be decided. The issues at the forefront of this action include concerns over work-life balance, unpredictable scheduling practices disrupting personal lives, and wages failing to align with the area's cost of living. And still to come in this edition of DD India Live, Dubai witnesses a unique exhibition titled Swadesh, showcasing the diverse, vibrant folk and tribal art traditions of India. Indian wrestler Aman Sehrawat secures an Olympic quota in the men's 57 kg freestyle category. And Swiss rapper and singer Nemo wins the Eurovision Song Contest 2024.
As India decides in the world's largest election,
we help you feel the pulse of the nation.
I am Sakal Bhatt.
I am Shubhendu Ghosh.
This election season, join us on a journey of India.
We are in Assam. This is the tea city of India.
From down south, Tamil Nadu.
Discover the colors of democracy.
Gateway to northeast of India.
Coastal state of Kerala. Watch Poll Pulse on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Gautam Roy. Pakistan-occupied Kashmir has been hit by civilian unrest, and a massive crackdown has been launched by the authorities to suppress the protests that have spread across the occupied region. At least one police officer has been killed and 90 others wounded after violent clashes erupted in the area starting Friday. The protests that started against inflation, high taxation and electricity shortage have turned into a movement for rights and freedom across Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. The Joint Awami Action Committee, which has traders at the forefront in most parts of Muzaffarabad, has been seeking the provision of electricity, subsidized wheat flour and an end to the privileges of the elite classes. In fact, posters have popped up in certain areas in POK saying that it should merge with India. Let's get started with the latest on the, in fact, get you some more on the latest on the world's largest democratic election in India. The stage is all set for polling in India's general elections for the fourth phase tomorrow, that's Monday. Yesterday was the last date of campaigning for this fourth leg of the seven-phased parliamentary elections. In the fourth round, voting will be held on Monday, as I said, the 13th of May. As many as 96 parliamentary constituencies across 10 states and union territories are going to polls in this particular phase. Now, India is all set to vote in the fourth phase of the elections on Monday. All seats of Telangana are going to polls on Monday as well. Election officers of Telangana have said that adequate arrangements have been made for voters and they're excited to be part of the world's largest festival of democracy.
Telangana is going to vote tomorrow, and today all of the Election Commission officials in the state are making preparations to ensure that the voting experience for the voters in the state is transparent and smooth as well. And right now we are at a distribution center in Hyderabad where hundreds of polling officials have gathered to collect their electronic voting machines and other equipment that is required to conduct the polling on 13th of May. What does the distribution center look like and what is the experience of these polling officials? We'll try and speak to the polling officers that are present here.
Election Commission of India has taken elaborate arrangements for conducting a fair and honest elections for the Lok Sabha. This is the world's largest democracy and we are very happy and fortunate that we have been assigned to such a job wherein we are conducting the election.
I feel very proud, and this is the world's largest democracy. I feel proud to be a part of this democracy, and this HOP House of People elections is going on, and here in Akbar Bagh DRC everything has been arranged meticulously. And almost all the polling officers have arrived.
You can see people from all walks of life, from people in government official capacity and people from other areas as well have come here and are part of this entire exercise.
Yeah, it's feeling very great to be part of such a great election. And I'm feeling very opportunist to be a part of it.
The world's largest democratic elections in the world's largest democracy involves a vast and a complex process. However, it is the hard work of these polling officials around me that not only make it possible, but a smooth and a transparent experience for the voters as well. With camera person Vakant Sharma, I'm Akshay Dongre, DD India, Hyderabad.
As Jammu and Kashmir gears up for polls, the Chief Electoral Officer of the state, PK Pol, has said that all preparations for the upcoming Lok Sabha elections for Srinagar parliamentary seat on the 13th of May have been completed. DD India's Rama Tyagi has more inputs from Srinagar.
What are the preparations for the 13th of May?
13th May, Srinagar parliamentary constituency is going to poll, and the preparations are almost complete. We have commissioned the EVMs. The symbols of the contesting 24 candidates have been loaded. EVMs have been prepared. Other non-EVM related material have been clubbed into a bag. Bags are ready. Polling parties are being trained. Almost in every polling stations we are holding the booth awareness committee meetings. The concerned BLO as well as the village level employees like Asha workers, Anganwadi workers, Patwari, VLW, Lambardar and Chaukidar are members of the booth awareness groups. They are expected to make the villagers aware about the poll date, timing, etc.
So all the preparations have been done for free and fair election in Jammu and Kashmir. Now authorities are hoping that poll percentage will increase this time. With camera person Vinod Oja, this is Rama Tyagi for DD India.
Campaigning for the fifth phase of elections is also underway, and Prime Minister Modi held an election rally in the eastern state of West Bengal. The PM addressed the rally in Howrah. He said that Howrah used to be an industrial hub earlier, but first the left and then the TMC brought all the industries to a complete halt. The PM also held a rally in Arambagh. He slammed the opposition and said that the government is making consistent efforts to develop port infrastructure there. But the TMC has tried to hinder the process time and again. And addressing another rally in Hooghly, Prime Minister Modi said that the 2024 election is a fight between ideologies. The trust, support and blessings of this country are with the BJP.
आज भाजपा मेक इन इंडिया पर बल दे रही है, लेकिन टीएमसी ब्रेक इन इंडिया का नारा लगा रही है। टीएमसी समाज को तोड़ रही है, टीएमसी कानून को तोड़ रही है, टीएमसी एकता को तोड़ रही है। तुष्टीकरण की जीत में कांग्रेस और टीएमसी जैसी पार्टियां आपकी भावनाओं की भी परवाह नहीं करते।
And earlier, Prime Minister Modi held a rally in Barakpur. Addressing the people there, the PM said that today it has become difficult for a common person to follow his faith in Bengal. TMC threatens people when they chant the name of Lord Ram.
5 गारंटी दे रहा हूं, जब तक मोदी है धर्म के आधार पर आरक्षण नहीं दिया जाएगा। दूसरी गारंटी, जब तक मोदी है एससी, एसटी, ओबीसी का आरक्षण कोई खत्म नहीं कर पाएगा। तीसरी गारंटी, जब तक मोदी है रामनवमी मनाने से कोई आपको रोक नहीं पाएगा। चौथी गारंटी, जब तक मोदी है राम मंदिर पर सुप्रीम कोर्ट का जो फैसला है उस फैसले को कोई पलट नहीं पाएगा। और 5वीं गारंटी, जब तक मोदी है सीएए कानून को भी कोई रद्द नहीं कर पाएगा।
And senior BJP leader Amit Shah held an election rally in Pratapgarh in Uttar Pradesh, which has the highest number of parliamentary seats. He also held a rally in Gonda. The Home Minister also held a rally in the city of Rai Bareli. He said that Congress leaders never visited the region even after getting elected from the seat. And Delhi Chief Minister as well as AAP convener Arvind Kejriwal announced Kejriwal's guarantee outlining 10 works to be done if the Indy bloc comes into power after winning the Indian parliamentary elections. Samajwadi Party Chief Akhilesh Yadav held a poll rally in Uttar Pradesh's Barabanki and Mohanlalganj as well. And Congress Party's Priyanka Gandhi held a campaigning rally in Rai Bareli. Now let's take a look at some of the other updates coming in from around the country. The annual training camp for girls organized by National Cadet Corps or NCC is underway in New Delhi's Rohini. A total of 493 girl cadets from 12 schools and 7 colleges are taking part in the training camp. Girl cadets are getting trained in map reading, knowledge of weapons and knowledge of various firing positions. Some other areas of focus include inculcating the spirit of patriotism, importance of discipline and self-defense. The Indian Army, Bandipora Police and the CRPF in a joint operation arrested a terrorist associate along with arms and ammunition in northern India's Jammu and Kashmir. The case was registered under a section of the law in the Pet Kote police station. India's Home Minister Amit Shah inaugurated Bharatiya Janata Party's media centre in the city of Varanasi in Uttar Pradesh. The media centre inauguration has come ahead of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the city for his election campaigning. Doors of the Badrinath Dham, a Hindu holy place, opened for devotees on Sunday morning in Uttarakhand's Chamoli. One of the 4 sites in India's Char Dham pilgrimage, the doors were opened amidst melodious tunes of the army band with complete rituals, Vedic chanting and slogans of Badri Vishal Lal Ki Jai. On the occasion of Mother's Day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi received his late mother's portrait as a gift during his public rally in Hooghly, West Bengal. Thanking people for the gift, Prime Minister Modi said that Western countries celebrate Mother's Day today, but we Indians worship our mothers throughout the year.
यहाँ दो सज्जन दो कोने में चित्र बना करके लाए हैं और कब से हाथ ऊपर करके खड़े हैं। आपका हाथ को पेन होगा भैया, लेकिन आप इतने प्यार से लाए हैं और वो भी मेरी माँ का चित्र बना के लाए हैं। और पश्चिम की दुनिया आज मदर्स डे मनाती है। हम भारत के लोग तो 365 दिन माँ की भी पूजा करते हैं, दुर्गा माँ की भी पूजा करते हैं, काली माँ की भी पूजा करते हैं और भारत माता की भी पूजा करते हैं।
Pope Francis has applauded mothers on Mother's Day today. He said that today in many countries we celebrate Mother's Day. We think with gratitude of all mothers and also pray for the mothers who have gone to heaven and entrust all mothers to the protection of Mary, our Heavenly Mother, and a big applause to all mothers. Dubai witnessed a unique exhibition titled Swadesh, showcasing the diverse, vibrant folk and tribal art traditions of India. Organized under the banner of Vidisha's Creations, the Swadesh exhibition gave special focus to lesser-known art forms such as Manjala's art and Gond art, which are often overshadowed by the more famous Mithila paintings. The exhibits featured a diverse array of folk and tribal artworks, allowing visitors to learn traditional techniques directly from master artisans and sales of the art. Let's quickly get you some sporting updates as well. Well, Indian wrestler Aman Zehrawat, living up to the high expectations, the Asian champion has secured an Olympic quota in the men's 57 kg freestyle category at the World Wrestling Olympic qualifiers in Istanbul, Turkey. Zehrawat defeated Han of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea 12-2 in the semi-final for India's 6th quota in wrestling. But Deepak Punia was eliminated from the qualification race following his crushing defeat in the first round. This was India's first Paris quota in men's freestyle wrestling. All of the previous 5 quotas were obtained by the Indian women wrestlers. The Istanbul meet is the final opportunity for wrestlers to obtain a quota for the upcoming Summer Games. 3 Paris Olympic quotas are on offer in each weight class. Switzerland emerged as the winner of Eurovision Song Contest 2024 on Saturday in the Swedish city of Malmö. Swiss rapper and singer Nemo won the contest with The Code, a genre-blending song about the journey of self-discovery. Croatia came as runners-up.
Just to be a part of it was special, and to know that a song that has changed my life and a song where I just speak about my story has touched so many people and maybe inspired other people to stay true to their story is the most insane thing that has ever happened to me.
And that's all we have for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the QR code on the screen to download the app now. And we'll be back with more news and updates as the break here on DD India. I'm Gautam Roy, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.